Jai Hind everyone, I am Dr. Ekta Pandey from the Department of Applied Science and Humanities Mathematics from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on the topic normal distribution from module 4 statistical technique 2 from the course Mathematics 4. Before this lecture, I want to suggest you that you must know about the probability density function, because today the topic we are going to discuss is normal distribution, and normal distribution is one of the probability density function. So you must know about the probability density function, as we are going to use some basics of the probability density function. Okay, for this lecture we will discuss normal distribution. So let us see what is normal distribution. First of all, if we have a continuous random variable, then to find the probabilities of the random variable which is continuous, we can have a probability function. This probability function is known as probability density function, and various important variable like height, weight, wages, length of life follow a important probability function which is known as normal distribution. So normal distribution is one of the example of probability density function. And if you know about the binomial distribution, and you must know about the binomial distribution before reading normal distribution, normal distribution is derived as a limiting case from the binomial distribution when n is the number of trial and it is very large, and p the probability of success is close to 1/2. Then binomial distribution will reduce to normal distribution. Now here we are not going to discuss about the derivation, but we will discuss about the output. When we apply the limit that n tends to infinity and p tends to 1/2 on the binomial distribution, then we will get the result of the normal distribution, which is known as normal distribution, and the function that we obtain will be 1 upon sigma root 2 pi into e raised to the power minus x minus mu raised to the power 2 upon 2 sigma square. Here sigma is the standard deviation of the distribution and mu is the mean of the distribution. So the random variable x here will have mu as the mean and sigma as the standard deviation. Now if we are studying continuous variable, then for continuous random variable we have to find probability in an interval, and the formula to find the probability in an interval of the x falling in the interval x1 and x2 is equal to integration of the probability function between x1 and x2. This is the mathematical structure to find the probability of a continuous random variable in the interval. In this lecture we will discuss about how to find this probability and how to find this integral, this one. Now what we have to do, since the variable that we are going to discuss in this lecture are following normal distribution, then obviously the probability function that we have to put here is normal distribution. So what will we do? We will put fx is equal to 1 upon sigma root 2 pi e raised to the power minus x minus mu raised to the power 2 upon 2 sigma square. But you know, by the property of definite integral, this integral implies area under the curve fx between x1 and x2. Okay, so by the property of definite integral, this integral will convert it into area. Okay, so here we will learn a new concept to find the probability, as we can find the probability in terms of area. So now onwards, probability is equal to integral, and integral is equal to some area. So probability means we are going to find area, and in reverse direction also, if we are given an area, then we can read it as a probability. Now let us discuss about the curve made by this function fx, 1 upon sigma root 2 pi e raised to the power minus x minus mu raised to the power 2 upon 2 sigma square, which is a normal distribution. So the curve made by this distribution is called normal curve. it is a very important and some properties are followed by this curve. We will discuss the properties of this normal curve. So first thing to note is that the random variable x will take the value from minus infinity to infinity. As it is a continuous random variable, always take value from minus infinity to infinity. Then when we draw the graph of the normal distribution, means for the value of random variable, when we mark the corresponding probability and join the points, then we will get this type of curve. This curve is called as bell-shaped curve. You can identify the shape of the curve, and you can observe that it is just like a bell-shaped curve. Okay, so the shape of the curve is called bell-shaped curve. The next thing to note about this curve is that this curve is symmetrical about mean. See, mu is the mean of the distribution. Then you can see that the curve is symmetrical about this number, which is known as mean. And due to its symmetry, we have another property of this curve, that mean is equal to median is equal to mod. See, you can see the highest probability against the mean. Therefore, mean is the mod. And also, since the curve is symmetrical about this line, which is against the value of mean, this implies that the curve is divided in two equal parts by this value. This implies mean is equal to median and median is equal to mod. All these three numbers are equal to each other for the normal curve. Next thing to note is that the total, we know that the total probability for a probability distribution is 1. Here the total probability can be calculated by integrating the probability function from minus infinity to infinity. Obviously, since the total probability is 1, therefore we will get this the value of this integral is equal to 1, which implies that the total area under the normal curve above the x-axis is equal to 1. This implies this area is equal to 1. The total area under the curve is equal to 1. Okay, the next thing, since the line x equal to mu divides the area under the normal curve, because the curve is symmetrical about x equal to mu. So obviously the line x equal to mu will divide the area under the normal curve into two equal parts, which implies that the area in right side and left side will be equal to 1 by 2. So this area will be equal to 1 by 2, and also this area will also be equal to 1 by 2. So both of the area will be equal to 1 by 2 in left and right of the mean. Now, here we are going to discuss about standard form of the normal distribution. Why it is important, we will discuss in the next slide. Here we will discuss what is the standard form of the normal distribution. See, if x is the normal random variable with mean mu and standard deviation sigma, then we can apply change of origin and change of scale on the x, then we will get a new variable z. Here we are changing the origin at mu and changing the scale by sigma. Then the new variable z is equal to x minus mu upon sigma. This new variable is will be having a mean 0 and standard deviation 1. Okay, and the probability function will be converted into fz. Due to this changes, probability function will be converted into fz, and fz is given by 1 upon root 2 pi e raised to the power minus 1 by 2 z square. So see, here x is converted to z and fx is converted to fz, which is again a normal distribution. But here, since mean is equal to 0 and standard deviation 1 is fixed for any distribution, that's why this new distribution z fz is called standard normal distribution. Okay, when we draw the curve for this distribution z fz, we will again observe the same curve as we have observed for the random variable x. But what is the difference? We can see the only difference is that the curve is symmetrical about mean, and this time the mean value is 0. The curve will be symmetrical about z is equal to 0. Each and every other properties will remain same for this curve also, which is known as standard normal curve. This is a standard normal curve. It will also have the same property that the normal curve was having. Now, why we are reading this standard form of the normal distribution? Actually, we are going to use this variable z to find the probability of x. We will find the probability of x using the variable z. Why? There are two reasons of this behind this, that the probability of x is going to obtained by the variable z. The first one is, when we convert z into x, the area doesn't change under the curve. You can see the area under the curve fx and fz remains same. First reason is this, and second reason is this, that the probability of z between 0 to a will be given in the normal distribution table. Let us see this table. This one. This is a table in which all the values for probability of z falling in the interval 0 to a will be given. We can find the value of probability of z in the interval 0 to a from this table. So no need of any type of calculation, just read the table and write the value of the probability. Okay, so it is very useful to convert the random variable x into the standard normal variable z, so that we can use the table and just reading the we can write the value just by reading the table. So how can we use this table? I will let you explain in the example. So next, this is the method to calculate the probability of x using the variable z. The first one is if we have x, a random normal variable, then convert the x into z using this formula, z is equal to x minus mu upon sigma. So our first step to find the probability of falling x in the interval a to b, we have to find the z score of x equal to a and x equal to b. Now, since the area under the curve fx and fz does not change when we convert x into z, therefore the probability of x will remain same when we convert x into z. So let for x equal to a, we have z score z1, and for x equal to b, we have z score z2. Then the probability of x in the interval ab will be equal to probability of z in the interval z1 z2. Now next thing what we will do to find this probability, we will convert this probability into the probability of z in the interval 0 to a by using the property of symmetry of the curve about z is equal to a. We can use this property of symmetry to convert any probability of z into the probability of z in the interval 0 to a, and Why we are doing so? Because this probability will be given in the standard normal distribution table. So we can read this value from the table, and no need to do any probability kind of calculation here. So this is the method to find the probability of x falling in the interval a and b. And one important thing to note, that you have to read the problem carefully. Sometime we will be given that the experiment may be repeating for capital N number of time. Then we can find how many time we can have the success. It will be given by probability of falling x in some interval, or probability of x equal to a into n. Then this will give us the number of time we can get the probability when x will be equal to a. So this is known as frequency. So if in the problem we are given about the number of time an experiment is repeating, then it is clearly understood that we have to find the frequency instead of probability. So we will learn how to read this table in the example. Let us discuss an example. This is an example. The daily wages of 1000 worker are distributed around a mean 140. Mean value is 140, and with standard deviation rupees 10. Standard deviation is 10. Estimate the number of workers whose daily wages will be between 140 and 144, less than 126 and more than 160. See, here we have to estimate the number of worker, means we have to find the frequency. Okay, and why is it so? Here, see, we are given number of time we are going to repeat the experiment, which will be equal to number of worker. So here we have 1000 as number of time we are going to repeat the experiment. So to find the number of worker, what we have to do? Just multiply the probability by number of time we have to repeat the experiment. Okay, so first part will be given by this formula, second part will be given by this formula, and third part will be given by this formula. So let us discuss the first part. See here, the first part is find the number of worker expected to have wages between 140 and 144. So the first step to find this probability, is convert the x into z. So for x equal to 140, z will be 0 by this formula, and for x equal to 144, z will be equal to 0.4. So we have converted x into z, and since the area under the curve of random variable x and z does not change, therefore these probability will be equal to each other. Now why we are converting x into z? Because this probability, which probability of falling z in the interval 0 to a is given in the standard normal distribution table. Now let us discuss about that table, how to read that table. Okay, so we have to find the probability. Which probability? 0 to 0.4. How to read this probability from the table? See here, there are the table is two dimensional. This dimension, see, this dimension means you can see it first column. First column is just a number. Which number? Z. Z, it is about Z, a number with the first digit after the decimal. Means, for example, here A is equal to 0.4. So 0.4 is the number just after the decimal, first digit after the decimal. So it will be traced from the first column, this dimension 0.4 here. We can mark it 0 point from here. Okay. So in the number, the first digit after this decimal will be traced by here, and the second digit is traced in this dimension. This, you can say, the first row. This one is the first row. The second digit obviously will be 0, and this is the column which represent the second digit is 0. Now trace this column and trace this column and this row. The intersection point of this column and row will give you the required value, which is 0.1554. So, probability of falling Z in the interval 0 to 0.4 is equal to 0.1554. It will be equal to 0.1554. So, here just by reading the table, we came to know about the value of this probability. Now we can use it in our calculation. This probability is equal to 0.1554 direct from the table. Now we have to find the number of worker. So just multiply the probability by the number of time we have repeated the experiment, which is equal to 1000. So the number of worker is equal to 155. Okay, this was the first part. Now let us discuss the second part. In second part, we have to find the number of worker whose daily wages is less than 126. So first of all, read this structure mathematically. We can write it as the probability of x less than 126, and since we have to find the number, therefore we will multiply this probability by number of time we repeat the experiment. We will multiply it with n. Now the first step is to convert x into z. So for x equal to 126, by this formula we will get z is equal to minus 1.4. Now you again the same concept we are going to use, that the area under the curve of normal variable x and the standard normal variable z does not change. Therefore, the probability of x and z will remain same. So these two probability will remain same. Now you can observe that z is less than minus 1.4. We can convert it into the positive value by using the symmetry of the curve about z is equal to 0. This is z is equal to 0 about which the curve fz is symmetrical. Okay. Now see, the probability that z will be less than minus 1.4 is this probability, this one, green. It is colored by green. So this green area is representing this probability z less than minus 1.4. If we take this point as minus 1.4, then the area in left side, in lower side, left means lower side, in lower side of minus 1.4 is the area which represent the probability of z less than minus 1.4. Now since the curve is symmetrical about 0, therefore the area in left of minus 1.4 will be equal to area in right of 1.4. So by using this concept of symmetry, we convert the negative value into positive value. Now what we have to do, we have to convert this probability into the probability 0 to a, probability of z from 0 to a. For this, what we can do, we have to convert this light green area into the dark green area. How can we do it? we know that the curve is symmetrical about z is equal to 0. This implies z is equal to 0 line divide the whole area into two equal parts. Obviously, the area in right side of the 0 and left side is equal to 0, which will be equal to 1 by 2, as the total probability is equal to 1. So, the area in the right side of z is equal to 0 is equal to 1 by 2. This blue line blue lines are showing the area in right side of z is equal to 0, which will be equal to 1 by 2. So, if we subtract dark green area from 1 by 2, then we will obtain the light green. Means again we can have this area z is equal to 1.4, z greater than 1.4. So, we can write this area as 0.5 minus probability of z from 0 to 1.4. Okay, area in right side of 0 minus area of area between z is equal to 0 to 1.4. So, from table we can read this value. Let us read the table. Here in this table, this time we need the probability of z from 0 to 1.4. Again, 1.4 can be marked from the first dimension, which can be read as the first column. Here is 1.4 and the second digit is 0. So, second digit is equal to 0 is again can be read by the first column. So, read this column and this row. The intersection point is 0.4192. So, this probability is equal to 0.4192. I hope you understood this concept of reading the table. So, we have 0.4192. So, just put the value of the probability of z between 0 to 1.4 from the table, 0.4192, and it is equal to 0.0808. Now, we have to find the number. So, just multiply it by 1000 and we will get 80.8, which is approximately equal to 81. So, 81 number of workers are there whose daily wages is less than 126. So, this is the concept of converting the probability of x into the probability of z between 0 to a, and this probability can be read by the standard probability distribution table. The third part is we have to find the number of workers having wages more than 160. Again, the same concept we will apply. The probability of x greater than 160, we have to find this probability and convert this number into the z score. The value of 160 will be converted to 2 by the formula x minus mu upon sigma. So, for 160 we will get the value of z is equal to 2 and area will not change under the curve of x and z. Therefore, these two probability will be equal to each other. So, probability of x greater than 160 will be equal to probability of z greater than 2. Now, this is the standard normal curve, and see the probability of z greater than 2 is represented by this green area. Area in right side means higher side of z is equal to 2. We have to convert this light green area into dark green area. And how can we do it? Just apply the same concept as we have applied in the previous part. The area in right side of z is equal to 0 is equal to 1 by 2. If we subtract this dark green area from 1 by 2, then we will obtain the light green area. So, just this concept, we have to apply this concept mathematically. So subtract the dark green area from the 0.5, then we will obtain again the light green area. So 0.5 minus dark green area is the probability of z between the 0 to 2 interval. Therefore, it can be written as this probability z greater than 2 can be written as 0.5 minus probability of z falling in the interval 0 to 2. Now, this probability can be obtained by the standard normal distribution table. This is the table, and from here we can find the probability of falling z in the interval 0 to 2. Here the first column representing the value of z with one decimal digit, and we can mark it here 2.0. Obviously, second digit is again 0 after the decimal, which is represented by again this first column, and where the first column and this row intersect is 0.4772. So we obtain the probability from this table 0.4772. Now what we have to do here, put this value here, and 0.5 minus 0.4772 is equal to 0.0228. Now what we have to do, just multiply it, number of time we repeat the experiment 1000, and we get 23. So 23 is the number of worker having wages more than 160. So this is an example which represent all type of cases. I hope you have understood. Thank you for watching the video.